Hello everybody, welcome to Ageless Rock. Today I'm going to share with you some strange monoliths and mysterious wall tomb in Toraja in Sulawesi. This little island of Indonesia is full of mystery, you won't believe it. Deep in the jungle of Sulawesi, the Toraja people live their daily lives for thousands of years, relatively unknown to Western civilization. They have all the trademarks of a megalithic culture. You might wonder if giants ever lived here. Their first contact with the outside world was in the early 19th century. Until today, they haven't changed much. The people of Toraja has a very unique culture and language. The Torajans speak Malayo-Polynesian language, and it is a branch of Austronesian language. Dutch introduced Christianity in the 17th century. Only 10% rural Torajans became Christians. Torajan Muslims attacked Torajan Christians in 1930s. The Christians aligned themselves with the Dutch to fight back. As a result, 86% Torajans goes to church today. Torajan has a culture of erecting menhirs for their deceased family members. But how did the Torajans carve megalithic monoliths remains a mystery. Bori Parinding is a prehistoric site. The Torajans are nomadic in olden days. They were still primitive when Europeans came to know of their existence. If the Torajans knew how to do this, the Europeans would have witnessed and learned how the Torajans chiseled granites and dragged it into a village and stood it upright. Torajans are famous for their unique building called Tongkonan. It is a construction for meeting and dedicated to a dead person and has ancestral importance. If they can do this for hundreds of years, they should be able to show the Europeans how to carve monoliths out of granite. There are 56 menhirs in Batu Tumonga village, but I cannot find any info on how Torajans chisel, transport and plant it upright into the ground. It is hard to believe that these were done by inhabitants of a small village. Look at the size of this monolith. If this can be done by ancient Torajans, they would be teaching the world how pyramids of Giza was made. Until today, no one knows anything other than mainstream accusing the Torajans did this. There are 102 rock-cut stone monoliths in Sesaan village. There is no dead body or inscription here. Each stone is just a simple dedication to a dead person. Ketekesu is a small village home to about 20 families. They get to boast 700 years of unbroken tradition. Until today, they still practice their 7 centuries of culture and beliefs. Therefore, mainstream anthropology believes these menhirs were made by their ancestors around that time. There are plenty of monoliths in Kalimbuang Bori. However, there are plenty of reasons to believe that these were not made by Torajan ancestors. This monolith in Rantai Gesak Buntu Tili might look like just another monolith, but if you zoom in, you will find that it has even striations. This is evidence of a high-power raking machine. This picture might look like just another monolith, but if you zoom in, you will find that it has even striations. This is evidence of a high-power raking machine. I find these two monoliths very interesting. They have something in common. They both have high-power raking machine striations. Even the angles are consistent. These two monoliths are within the same area. But look at the consistency of the gap and angle. This is undeniably a tool mark of a machine we don't have. This monolith is also very interesting to me. The surface looks like it was flattened with the machine rather than carved with ancient chisel and has a 90-degree angle. I don't think the Torajans spend many extra hours making nice flat surfaces when most of them are just round. Lokomata is also famous for rock-cut rectangular holes used as burial. I find it strange that Torajan ancestors were extremely good at it with ancient tools, but today with modern power tools, they don't do it anymore. The Torajans will decide if the dead gets a tall monolith or a short monolith. A tall monolith will require more animals for sacrifice. If they don't have enough animals to slaughter, the dead will have to wait to be buried in the rectangular holes. While waiting for the animals to grow up, the dead will have to be mummified with formaldehyde and live with the living. They are greeted and treated as if they are still alive. It can be months or years before they get a chance for their soul to be released into heaven. If you think about it, it doesn't make any sense when it is so hard to carve rectangular holes into this boulder and all they did was fill it with skeletons. However, when I zoom in, the long and consistent gap striations on the side of the wall and the 90-degree on three sides with sharp corners, just like those around the world, prove it was done by another civilization. If Torajans carved out the rectangular niches and holes to bury the dead, why did they continue the rituals but discontinued making the holes and niches? They buried their dead in the bedrock and made wooden effigies. Coffins were lowered from the top. But notice one thing, everything they did and still do is made of wood. Their tools even today are not meant to handle bedrock. Look at this cave. It is a trapezoid with recess. I don't think this was done with modern hammers and chisels, let alone ancient tools. This is not even an architecture in Toraja. Trapezoid with recess on bedrock is found all over ancient megalithic sites. I strongly believe Baraba caves in India, Toraja tombs in Indonesia, Apurima prison in Peru are of the same ancient builders. What are the odds that Manazan in Turkey and Yoshima in Japan also have the same mysterious rectangular random holes architecture? They are useless today and definitely useless in the past. The Torajans celebrate their occupation of their land since September 1st, 1247 AD. By 2022, they have 775 years of unbroken singing and dancing in their own language and culture. If the Torajans carved the monolith, how come the knowledge of making monolith was not passed on? Today, there are 1 million Torajans in Sulawesi. There are more people dying today compared to 700 years ago. How come they still carry on the tradition, but no one is making 10-ton monoliths or carving any caves? Something is not right with the narrative. To means people, Riaja means highland, Toraja means highland people. Toraja is also known as Negeri di atas awan, which means land above the cloud. On a moist and misty day, you will feel like paradise in heaven. These 7 destinations I just went through will definitely blow your mind. While Indonesia is 86% Muslims, Toraja in Sulawesi is 86% Christians. Today, they get the blessings from Jesus every day. Well, that's all for today. Thank you for watching my presentation on monoliths and rock-cut caves of Toraja, and see you next time. Sekian, jumpa lagi.